Real quickly, this is one of my buddies. Now he's going out live, so I talked to him earlier. He's fine with that. I'm going to tell you, without getting into his assignment, he's a police officer. I'm going to tell you on the left, it was about 2 years ago, receiving an award with his group. And a doctor told him that if he didn't lose the 300 plus pounds that he was carrying, that he was going to die. That he had developed a heart condition that was not going to support that weight. Literally told him, you're going to die. You need surgery, or you need to get on this medication. We need to get that weight off. And Kenny said that surgery is not an option. He was talked to and directed to Team THF. That was about probably 3 months ago maybe, and Kenny had dropped 60 pounds. Today Kenny spoke to the corrections officer at a seminar we did this morning and was over 100 pounds of fat loss. Does anybody want to come up here? And we don't even have a 100-pound weight, right? We've got a 50. Here's the 50 for everybody at home. How do you think 2 of these walking around all day, every day, how do you think that's going to do for my joints? How about my heart? When Kenny went back to the doctor had actually recommended THF because Team THF because he had sent others there and they had found results. And I can tell you, as a leader in law enforcement, I would not take this to my family, my other family, unless I was 100% believing and committed to it. And it is fun. It was a pretty neat thing to see Kenny tell one of our consultants today in front of that group that they had saved his life. Because he went from red and yellows on a 70-panel test to all greens. And he'll never go back. And he said the reason it worked is I get to eat. And I tried everything, and I learned all these different foods I didn't even know about. And when I do take a break, because my metabolism is so healthy and sped up, I can take a week off and slack on my daily regimen, and the weight he's still maintaining. So some exciting stories. I'm going to let the Marine come up and talk to you about the rest of the program. Jace, take it away.
Sir.
You bet.
All right, thank you guys. We're going to go over what I'm going to talk about today. There's going to be 3 lies in the fitness industry, weight loss industry that I'm going to talk about. The first lie, obviously you guys can see, all of my weight loss is fat loss. When's the best time to weigh yourself? When do you guys weigh yourselves?
Morning.
In the morning, right? Everybody weighs less in the morning. When you weigh yourself at night and then you wake up in the morning and you've lost 2 or 3 pounds, do you think that you've lost fat during that time?
Yes.
Because we've been programmed to think that's that what we're losing on the scales, we're losing weight. But then what happens is the next day we weigh ourselves during the day and we get frustrated, especially if we're trying to diet and we're trying to lose weight. We get frustrated the more we get on that scale and we see that number changing and it's going up. We don't understand why, and we're just getting frustrated. So if I was to give you guys one recommendation, would be to just take the scale, throw it away. There's better ways to judge your program and your weight loss than the scale. A lot of it has to do with your mood, how you're feeling during the day, circumference measurements. Maybe you're doing measurements around your waist and your hips and your thighs, and you'll notice once those inches start coming off, it might not necessarily show on the scale, but if those inches are coming off, that means you're losing fat, and that's what we want. And like I kind of said earlier, what we kind of programmed to think though is that number on the scale, and there's so many, like Jason touched on, there's so many quick weight loss programs that we talked about that you lose 20 pounds and 30 pounds in 10 days. And a good example I like to use is when you guys came into this class, if I charged you guys $20 to come into this class to do this seminar, and charged everybody online $20 to do this seminar, but I guaranteed you that you would lose 5 pounds at the end of the seminar, how many people would pay that $20? Raise your hand. probably most of you, right? Everybody online would probably do it too. Everybody would say, hey, maybe he's got some kind of magic thing up his sleeve. So when you come in, have my scale set up here, I have you guys weigh yourselves, go through our little hour seminar, and at the end, I tell you to take off your jacket, empty your pockets, take off your shoes, there's your 5 pounds. How many people want to punch me in the face after? Probably everybody, right?
Put your hands on the wall.
Yeah.
He's pretty good at that, and everybody see how quickly he acknowledged and did that. We try to screen the consultants, but anyway.
You didn't do a background check on me. So. But that's just a good example of some of the techniques that are just, we're kind of programmed to think. What I'm going to kind of get into is some of the stuff that we're weighing when we do step on the scale. I already gave you guys 2 of them. We're weighing our fat, we're weighing lean body mass when we get on the scale. What's something else that we might weigh when we get on there? Depending on when you're weighing, you might not weigh nothing else, but what else are we weighing?
Food.
Undigested.
Yeah, undigested food, right?
Come in, nurse.
Water.
Say that. There you go.
Clothes, unless you're weighing in the morning and
Yeah,
you're,
wear shoes.
you want the less clothes possible. And undigested food. And these are all the things that you could be weighing when you're getting on the scale. And all this can kind of play into that number that's on the scale. And for some of you guys that are weighing yourself throughout the day, you might notice that number going up and down throughout the day, depending on your water intake, your food intake, things like that. The less I eat, the better. How many people have heard that? The less I eat, the better. Start a diet. Maybe we're starting at 2,000 calories. We go good for about 2 weeks. We notice that we're losing a little bit of weight in that 2 weeks, but on that 3rd week, we notice we hit a plateau and we don't lose anything. What do we end up doing? If the less we drop our calories, right? Because we keep thinking the less we eat, the better. So maybe we drop at 500, we get to 1,500 calories. Same thing. Maybe we go another week, we lose a pound. Another week comes by, we don't lose anything. Same thing. What do we do once we hit that plateau? Try to reduce them again, right? And before you know it, we're down to eating salad every day, all day long. So I'm going to kind of give you guys some good examples of why this isn't a good rule to go by. I'm going to give you guys a really good example of why calorie counting doesn't work. And we talked a little bit, Jamie touched on the Weight Watchers thing, the point systems, the calorie counting things. You see those Fitness Pals things on those apps that you have on your phone that you can kind of count your calories and see how many calories you're eating. It can be a good thing. Don't get me wrong, it can be a good thing. There also can be some setbacks into that, and I'm going to tell you why in just a second. And a lot of this has to do with your metabolism and what can change your metabolism. These are things that can affect your weight loss, your weight gain, if that's your goal, whatever your fitness goal is. Your metabolism is what's gonna drive that and what's gonna determine the outcome of that. And the things that can affect that, the first one is going to be the environment that you live in, basically, which a lot of us can't help if we live here. This is what we're going to be in. But if you're in a cold environment, your body adapts to being in the cold environment. If you're in a warm environment, your body's going to adapt to being in a warm environment. If I'm stranded on a desert island and there's no food around at all, what's going to happen? What's my body going to do? It's going to go in starvation mode. Exactly. It's going to recognize that there's no food in sight, and it's going to adapt to that situation. It's going to basically go into survival mode. Okay. Hormones. This one's a really big one. Your body produces a hormone called cortisol. Is anybody familiar with the hormone cortisol? It's a stress hormone. So the more stress you put your body under, the more stress you're under. That's something that can kind of play into a program. If it's a weight loss, weight gain program. Your hormones and those cortisol levels can play an effect to that. Change in lean body mass, Jason talked a little bit about that earlier. Obviously, if you're gaining lean body mass, it's going to help speed up your metabolism. That's what's going to help burn the fat and keep the fat off. If you're losing lean body mass, obviously that's going to be a bad thing because you're not going to be able to eat as much, you're not going to burn as much fat, you're probably going to store more fat. Hydration levels. Hydration levels is probably one of the most important things that I recommend to everybody is your hydration levels. As a society in whole and general, we are dehydrated. Females, I recommend 80, 90 ounces a day. Males, up to a gallon of water a day. I don't expect you to go out and start doing that right away, but at least try to work yourself up to that. Your hydration levels, it helps transport the nutrients throughout your system. It helps flush your system. It can help suppress your appetite. So when you think you're hungry, you're probably not. You probably just need to drink some water. You're probably just dehydrated. So hydration levels are very, very important in your program. Your pH levels. Things that can affect your pH levels are, does anybody drink a lot of energy drinks? Any soda drinkers in here? Are you telling on her?
No, it's my husband.
Oh, okay. Any kind of highly acidic foods, things like that can raise those pH levels in your body, and that can affect that actually slow your metabolism down. The second reason why the calorie counting doesn't work is that all calories are not the same. All calories aren't the same. You could take a cup of white rice and you could take a cup of brown rice. They're both going to be about 100 calories, right? But we know for a fact that if we're trying to lose weight, we're going to eat that cup of brown rice, right? But they're the exact same calories. And I'm going to get into why that happens here in just a second.